Happy Friday, everybody, the 26th day of January, 2018. I am Dan Kuntz, your host. Steve Harrer, news director to my immediate left. Cat in control, Facebook Live. Let's see what she wrote here. Hold tight just a minute. I don't know. Hi, Steve.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Are we up yet?
I feel good. I feel good. Got a big weekend planned.
And you smell that?
That smells like the weekend.
That's the weekend.
That is the weekend.
Absolutely.
That is the weekend. Thank you for starting your Friday with us and getting ready to get your weekend going with us here on the NCW Live channel. Right out of the box, there's a storm in them Thar Hills. We have a winter weather advisory that goes into effect at midnight tonight. When you get up tomorrow morning, it's going to be snowing and snowing pretty darn hard. Then a big warm front comes in right behind that. So
lovely.
They're concerned about snowmelt on Monday and Tuesday. Forecast details are coming up. What?
We were just talking about this last year at this time. I mean, we had ice flows in the river. And,
it was terrible.
Remember how cold it was?
It was very cold. I accidentally, it was funny, Steve mentioned this, I accidentally looked at the wrong folder when I was putting together the show yesterday. I accidentally opened up the folder for January 26th of last year, and there was the weather forecast. It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was like cloudy and 20 degrees. And
well, you and I were doing an interview, I think, on the bridge there at Confluence Park over the Wenatchee River.
yes, with Ken Sisson.
With Ken Sisson,
Yeah.
Cheyenne County Sheriff's Department. And gosh, frostbite.
Yeah.
You know?
I much prefer this kind of weather.
I do too. I
Yes,
like this
the
kind of
sooner
weather.
the snow melts off the golf courses, the happier your host will be. It's Friday. What are your weekend plans?
Well, actually, isn't the Pro Bowl this weekend?
Yeah, so the big game, the Pro Bowl.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's all anybody's talking about.
Watch maybe some college basketball and maybe even get out and clean up some yard, since I can see it now. You know what I mean.
I know. Yes, I know what you mean. Steve's dog Thumbelina.
I love the snow. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, it makes it easier.
Yeah.
We won't get into that. Our checker is patiently standing by in the green room. Of course, Wenatchee Wild Hockey, the Merritt Centennials are in town today and tomorrow. Guns and Hoses. Tomorrow night, the firefighters take on the law enforcement folks in a hockey game that leads up to the regular hockey game. That'll be fun.
Oh, those are always amusing.
Yes,
to
they
say
are.
the least. Yeah.
You see a bunch of really important people who do great work falling down a lot. It's basically what it is. It's a lot of fun. We got highlights from last night's Wenatchee Eastmont Unified basketball game. You absolutely want to stay tuned for that. It's really cool stuff. Our cameras were there. It's great. We got high school basketball tonight live. Eastmont Wildcats hosting the West Valley Rams in Big Nine action at the Eastmont Gymnasium. We will be there to broadcast both the girls and the boys game with our newscast in between. We got a lot of news.
Boy, oh boy, how about speaking of sports, how about Haley Van Lith up in Cashmere?
Incredible.
A quadruple double.
First time in school history.
Yeah.
And she's a sophomore.
Go figure that.
She's a sophomore.
She's going places.
They've had college scouts watching her game since she was a freshman. I mean, that's.
Oh no, she's fabulous.
She's going to be able to pick whatever college she wants to go to. I have a feeling to play basketball.
Who was the young lady from Wenatchee High School? Was that Megan Franz?
Yeah, she played at Cascade.
Yeah, a Cascade.
Right,
I beg your pardon. Yeah.
Yeah, she ended up going to the University of Washington. Was drafted in the WNBA.
Right.
And now she teaches at Cashmere High School.
Oh,
So,
I didn't know that.
yep. See, you learn something new every day,
Boy,
don't
oh
you, Steve?
boy, you're a font.
I'm something anyway. Let's go around North Central Washington with our Valley View cameras. The cross camera is a little fogged over this morning, kind of like Steve and I. So no cross camera today, but we do have that view.
Oh gosh, that's beautiful.
That is, I believe, Jump Off Ridge. Isn't that phenomenal? And you can see where the layer of clouds and fog is. We have some freezing fog right now, Steve, 25 degrees. So that layer of freezing fog is right about at the level of where the camera is on Wenatchee Heights. So we went to Jump Off Ridge.
Gosh, that's pretty.
And it's going to be lots of sunshine today. The big weather changes tonight. And then lots of snow. Again, a winter weather advisory details coming up. Camper 2. Where are we going? We are going to, that is Steins looking to the east. So the Wenatchee Valley, Steve, is where the sun is coming up. See how easy that is?
Oh, there we are. Okay.
Yep. So the Wenatchee Valley is on the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Down below you can see Cashmere monitor area.
Crystal clear with the little twinkling lights down there.
It's beautiful. So you can see Cashmere pretty good. You can't see downtown monitor. It's kind of being blocked by that. Camera number 3.
Downtown monitor.
Downtown monitor.
Okay.
That is the Waterville camera, I believe. Yeah, thank you. I'm being complimented in my IFB by Caitlin, which never happens. Again, you can see that layer of frozen
mist
fog.
down there at the bottom.
Yep.
Yeah.
And again, we mentioned this before. One of the reasons that causes what you see on your screen is when the temperature of the Columbia River, the water temperature is considerably warmer than the air temperature. And that's what happens. That's why it's kind of hanging right around like that.
Thank you for that,
You're
Mr.
welcome. I learned that from Grant
Mr.
Olson.
Wizard.
Thank you. By the way, Mr. Wizard will make its debut on this station over the weekend. You're going to love it. Finally, camera number 4. It's got to be Monument. It's got to be Quincy, where opportunities are unlimited. Good morning, Columbia Basin. Good to have you on board. Beautiful. Just
that is
beautiful.
Nice.
That's just lovely. What's that?
No, so that's nice. Nice.
Yes,
nice.
it is nice. So there you go. That's our views around the valley. All of those cameras, courtesy of Localtel Sky-Fi High-Speed Wireless.
Should be a beautiful sunrise.
Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful sunrise. We're not there yet, about 20 minutes.
Yeah, about 10 minutes or so.
Yep, we're gaining about anywhere between 70 to 90 seconds of daylight every day as we get closer and closer to spring. Come on, spring. Weather forecast, as I mentioned before, beautiful day today, then things change rather dramatically tonight. Winter weather advisory is in effect. There's your forecast. Sunshine today, Steve, a lot of it. High of 39. The winter weather advisory begins at midnight tonight, goes through noon Saturday, that 12-hour period. And how much snow we're going to get? Well, here's the most likely amount of snow. That's the most likely amount, as you can see, for the Wenatchee Valley. That's the most likely snow amounts from the National Weather Service. But we have two more slides we want to show you. How much, the minimum amount of snow, at least that much, a couple of inches at least.
Well, it's going to be great for the sled dog races up in Concord.
Oh, it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
Big
that
fresh
starts
powder
today, by the way.
Yep. Mission Ridge is going to have quite a bit of snow. They're going to love that. So at least that much snow, a couple of inches in the Wenatchee Valley overnight into Saturday. And then we have no more than that much. Does that make sense?
Oh.
So,
10 inches in Plain?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Plains had a lot of snow this year.
Yeah.
So is the Lake Wenatchee area. So again, a winter weather advisory, midnight tonight to noon on Saturday, 3, 4, 5 inches possible for everybody. Wenatchee, Chelan, Antioch, Cashmere, Omak, Okanagan, Waterville, Mansfield, every place. So yeah, and then once that goes away, once we get to Saturday, we're looking at a high of 41, Steve.
Oh,
so lots of snow overnight tonight into Saturday morning. When you get up tomorrow morning, it's going to be snowing pretty good. But by the time you go to, you call it a day on Saturday night, tomorrow night, it's going to be gone.
Yeah, when you get into your pass report, folks might want to prepare for some possible avalanche control work up on Stevens Pass over the weekend.
They're going to get a lot of snow in the mountain passes. These afternoon highs are just remarkable. Again, sunshine at 39 today. Even though we're going to have all that snow tomorrow, then warm air comes in, warm moist air, 41. And then 42, and then 44, and then 44, and then 44, and rain.
Yeah.
So snow melt, and the rivers and streams are going to get all swollen up, and yeah, it's all in the forecast.
Should be a good water year this year.
Yeah, no question about that. Steve mentioned the mountain passes. Let's do it. Traction tires are required right now on I-90. It is snowing really hard. Snow, slush, and ice on the roadway. Hard snow coming down. Poor visibility. Traction tires required both directions on I-90. Stevens is not much better. In fact, it's about the same. It's snowing. You also got blowing snow on Stevens, and poor visibility, and traction tires are required, and compact snow and ice on the roadway. And it's going to snow all day on Stevens Pass. Blewett Pass, not so bad. Traction tires are advised. Snow and ice on the roadway. Nothing coming down out of the sky on Blewett. That's going to change, as you might imagine. Traction tires advised on Blewett, required on Stevens, required on I-90, and your forecast for the mountain passes, snow. 3 to 5 inches today, 3 to 5 inches tonight, 3 to 5 inches Saturday, 2 to 4 inches Saturday night, a couple of inches on Sunday, and then just like us, they are expecting some rain on Monday and Tuesday.
Oh boy.
In the mountain passes. But it's going to snow pretty consistently. Look at I-90. I'm so glad I'm not driving that right now.
Yeah, well, compare that with what we're looking at here in the valley right now. Sunshine.
Sunshine, yeah. It's going to be a good-looking day today. And then, again, snow tonight into Saturday morning, and then by Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, it'll all be gone. And then highs in the 40s.
Oh, I was checking out some of the webcam images up at Mission Ridge yesterday, and it was just gorgeous.
Yeah, and they're going to get a lot of snow.
Oh, they got about 8 inches yesterday.
Yeah.
So, yeah, looking really good.
They're going to have a really good weekend. 9 minutes after the hour, you're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. It is freezing fog and 25 degrees outside of our studios. 1 minute break. Then when we come back, what's happening in north central Washington and the Wenatchee Valley? The guy to my left will let you know exactly what's going on. Steve here has the news in 1 minute. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
It's happening now at Wenatchee Valley Mall. PetSmart has come to town and they're throwing a great event. 3 great events to be exact. Stop by January 20th starting at 9 a.m. and enter to win prizes, coupons, and free services. Join Pet Perks and be entered to win a $250 PetSmart prize package. PetSmart has just what you need with hundreds of exclusive products for your specific pet needs. And leashed pets are always welcome at PetSmart, so stay tuned for all the PetSmart grand opening events.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
Our Friday, January 26th Wake Up Wenatchee Valley continues now with a look at NCW Life News. Here's what's happening on a Friday. Sandy Cohen is out as Executive Director of the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. The museum announced in a news release late yesterday that Cohen had resigned from his post. Cohen had been placed on administrative leave at the end of December. However, no details were disclosed as to the reasons for his resignation or why he was placed on leave. Cohen was hired back in 2015. He replaced Mariah Thornock at that time. Now, Thornock stayed on as the deputy director and has now been named to succeed Cohen as interim director. Search for a new full-time director will begin in the spring, according to Museum Board Chairman Don Gernard, who was actually quoted in this news release as saying, "We're really looking at this as a critical opportunity for the museum to grow and align more closely with key community partners," end quote. Also, big changes coming to the Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife. Their executive director, Jim Unsworth, has resigned. Eric Granstrom has more on that story.
In a press release from the Department of Fish and Wildlife, Unsworth informed the Fish and Wildlife Commission that he will resign his position effective February 7th. Dr. Unsworth has served as Washington's Director of Fish and Wildlife since February of 2015 after 30 years of wildlife management in Idaho. Unsworth has been under pressure from various hunting and fishing advocacy groups as well as environmental protection groups over the last several months for controversial decisions by his agency. Specific problems arose over the recent management plan for Chinook salmon in Puget Sound that angered sports fishermen. The department also came under fire when it euthanized 3 fawns and an elk calf. Fish and Wildlife Commission Chair Brad Smith says his group will name an interim director as soon as possible and will initiate a national search for Unsworth's replacement. NCW Life Channel reached out to Fish and Wildlife Commissioner Dave Graybill of Leavenworth for a comment, but he declined, saying commissioners have been advised not to comment on the issue. For NCW Life Channel News, I'm Eric Grandstrom.
Also, the 3rd annual Regional Salmon Recovery Science Conference is wrapped up yesterday afternoon at the Wenatchee Valley Convention Center. NCW Life's Grant Olson was there and he filed this report.
The conference was hosted by the Upper Columbia Salmon Recovery Board with the theme this year, Science of Survival, to reflect the area's continued focus on science related to salmon recovery. Greer Mayer, fish biologist with the Upper Columbia Recovery Board, says the theme of this year's conference is really about how salmon survive.
The theme is all about looking deeper into the question of how our fish survive, how they survive in the rivers, how they survive in the main stem Columbia, how they survive in the ocean. And it's really, we have all these advanced technologies to really track fish and look at their survival, and it's great to see some of those results play out today.
And I know you talked to Steve Hare last year at this same conference, and you talked about recovery levels not quite being where you'd want to see them. How has it changed from last year to this year?
You know, we're still in that situation. Actually, the last few years have gotten worse. We had some poor ocean conditions a few years ago, and we're seeing the results of those fish that went out during that time coming back. And so our adult returns are actually fairly low, and they probably will be consistently low for a few years. We also see a big increase in the number of sea lions in the estuary, and a lot of those take our fish. So we still have a lot of challenges, but overall we're a lot better than we were 20 or 30 years ago.
And there's a long-term plan for all of this, right? A 30-year plan?
A 30-year plan, and we're about 15 years into it. We really have these goals set for the number of fish that should come back and be spawning in our river natural origin, our wild fish, and we're working towards those goals. We're protecting and restoring habitat. We're working together. This conference is all about looking at the science and seeing what we can do to get more fish coming back.
Over 350 people attended this year's conference, including research professionals, project sponsors, contractors, elected officials, and various agency representatives. representatives. Grant Olson, NCW Life News.
And continuing with our environmental news this morning, legislation moving forward in the state legislature that authorizes the Department of Natural Resources to approve spending on forest fire reduction work. The measure, sponsored by Senator Brad Hawkins, enables state and federal agencies to partner on forest management as well as other land-related work. Hawkins says it's another example of how the legislature and DNR recognize the important connection between improving the health of our forests and reducing the risk of megafires.
It's kind of unfortunate that we have to do some of the work on the federal lands. I wish that our federal partners could be doing this important work, but I think everybody here in the legislature recognizes, as does the DNR, that wildfire knows no jurisdictional boundaries. So the fires that burn, they don't care whether it's state land or federal land. And in order to do the work that we need to do to help reduce our risk of catastrophic fire in this state, we need to partner with the federal government on the federal lands to do this important work. And so this bill that we passed last night to set up the account will not only allow us to process those funds, but it's in some ways very complementary to the forest health legislation that we passed in a very bipartisan way last year that directs the DNR to establish a framework for assessing the fire-prone areas in our state and treating them over 16 years.
Senate Bill 6211 would create an account in the state treasury to process revenues collected under the Good Neighbor Authority agreement entered into last year between the Department of Natural Resources and the U.S. Forest Service. A wanted Moses Lake felon found out the hard way this week that you can't hide from a trained canine officer. It was around 9:30 Thursday morning. Moses Lake police officers attempted to apprehend a wanted felon. He's identified as 35-year-old Cesar Adame, who took off running from officers. Well, Adame then jumped a fence, trying to elude officers, trespassing through people's yards. Finally, as they've described it, hunkering down in a shed. Here's a shot provided by the Moses Lake Police Department. Fortunately, Grant County Deputy Tyson Boss and his canine Edo were nearby and responded. Edo immediately found the suspect's trail that led officers straight to the shed. Adame apparently continued to attempt to hide in that shed. He actually received some minor bite wounds when the dog entered. Adame then surrendered and was taken into custody. He was treated at the hospital. Adame apparently has a history of violent offenses and firearms violations. He's now in custody. Also, you might want to take another look at the new video game you purchased for your kids this Christmas. A recent development has given parents reason for concern, as the video game industry, you might say, is helping your child develop gambling habits. Jay Seebeck has more on that.
Back in November of 2017, Electronic Arts, which is a video game publishing company, came under fire for their controversial release of the video game Star Wars Battlefront 2. The game was created around a system known as loot boxes. These loot boxes are an additional purchasing option for players to get their hands on additional content. But that content is not guaranteed and is actually randomized. Over the past several years, the loot box system has been a method for developers to extract additional revenue from their users. However, in the case of Star Wars Battlefront 2, these loot boxes were implemented as a core part of the gameplay, forcing players to pay extra or be left behind. This brought about a worldwide outcry as finally people recognized that these loot boxes are what they are, gambling. Not only are loot boxes a form of gambling, but they also target the youth population. To Washington State Senator Kevin Ranker, loot boxes are no different than gambling. On January 11th, Ranker submitted Senate Bill 6266, which would force Washington State Gambling Commission to regulate games that are released and use loot boxes or other forms of in-game or app purchases. If this bill were to pass, Washington would join the ranks of Hawaii, where a similar bill is currently being developed. This all comes on the heels of the nation of Belgium banning the sale of Star Wars Battlefront 2 and other games that contain loot boxes. If Washington State defines loot boxes as gambling, then expect many games to be requiring a purchase age of 18 or even 21. So for parents out there whose kids are avid gamers, keep an eye out for what they are playing and if the game has loot boxes, as it could develop gambling habits. This will certainly be something to follow as Bill 6266 makes its way through the House. I'm Jay Seebeck, NCW Life News.
Boy, oh boy, I tell you what, it's getting more and more scary, isn't it?
Well, it's all generational, I suppose.
so,
I mean, I grew up with Pong. Boop. Boop.
Yeah, me too.
Boop.
Frogger, yeah.
Yeah, and that was
Pac-Man.
entertaining enough for me. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Could be a problem, I suppose.
It's a huge industry.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
just a huge industry.
Hey, by the way, I want to remind voters that ballots are going out today in Chelan and Douglas counties for special levy and bond elections. Voters in the Cashmere, the Waterville, Orondo, Pateros, Palisades, Entiat school districts should be receiving their vote-by-mail ballots this weekend. Also, some special elections in some hospital districts around the area too. So, check out the ballots and make sure you get them back in the mail.
Freezing fog, 25 degrees outside of our studio. Sunshine today, about 38, 39 for the afternoon high. And then the snow comes, as I mentioned at the top of the show. We have a winter weather advisory for the 12-hour period of midnight tonight to noon on Saturday. Quite a bit of snow in the Wenatchee Valley, really all over north central Washington. It'll peter out if you're heading out towards the Columbia Basin. There's not going to get as much snow, but here in the valley, quite a bit of snow, and then whoop, it all goes away because we'll see highs in the 40s on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and quite a bit of rain for the early part of next week as well. So wet and mild weather, but we are going to deal with some snow. 22 minutes after the hour, the news with Grant Olson comes your way at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, with an exception tonight because we have live high school basketball. Eastmont and West Valley will do battle in East Wenatchee, and we'll carry the girls' game at 5:45. The boys' game follows about 20 minutes after the conclusion of the girls' game. In between those two games, we'll try and slide our newscast in there as well. So you're going to get it at 5 o'clock, and you will get it at 10 o'clock, and then between the two basketball games tonight with Grant Olson, and we'd love to hear from you, our viewers. We get a lot of news tips, and we'd love to hear from you, and there's any number of ways to do it. We try to make it as easy as possible, Steve.
That's right. You can contact us by email at news@ncwlife.com. Also contact us by our contact feature on our website at ncwlife.com. Facebook, Twitter, social media, we're always available there. And by all means, if you see breaking news, give us a tip and a call at 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295, our hotline for NCW Life News.
Going to take a quick 1-minute break. When we come back, sports, the obscure holiday today in history, birthdays. Everyone is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion, and Arch is in the house. Wild hockey, the topic in our second half of the program. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley this morning, live from Studio 99 in downtown Wenatchee. It's Wayne Gretzky's birthday.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, on the NCW Life channel.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on Local Tel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on
Where
Facebook.
we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
My name's Robert Duff. Current and previous occupation is architect, engineer, and a lawyer. Grew up here in Washington, born in Moses Lake. When I first came to CVCH, was looking for a place to get some dental work done. I was really impressed with the people at the counter. I mean, they were just on top of it. It only took her like 15 minutes to do the job. I didn't feel anything. The technology is so great, you don't even realize you're at the dentist. These people are so professional. I would have any one of these people in my home for dinner. These people are family.
And welcome back and good morning to you on this Friday, the 26th day of January, 2018. I am Dan Kuntz. Wake Up Wenatchee Valley continues with sports, a festive atmosphere at the Wenatchee High School Gymnasium last night. The second meeting between the Wenatchee High School Unified team and the Eastmont High School Unified team. Panthers won the game by a couple of points, but you're going to see the highlights and you'll realize that the final result of last night's game is not really the point at all.
Here come the Wildcats. Here comes Eastmont. And of course, we're at Wenatchee High School, so there's going to be a partisan crowd here for the Panthers as they come through the human tunnel out towards Jay Seebeck's location there with a camera. Everybody getting high fives on their way. As Gavin Zufall gets the rebound, and he's going to go on a fast break himself. He's out in front. Let's see if he's going to take the shot. He will, and it's good. A little bit too strong off the back of the backboard here. Seha with the shot. The follow-up is good for Gabby Seha, and we are tied at 2. Taking it down on the offensive set here, Jared Bishop. He'll give it up to Grace Van Wells. She'll shoot, she'll score! Grace with her first bucket. Back and forth we go, 8-4. Wenatchee on top is Grace. Now they're going to go high post to Darice Steele. Steele missed the shot, got his rebound, put back, good! Darice Steele with his first point of the game. Six. Going to hand it back, and they're going to give a shot to Zach Beasley. Beasley shoots and scores! Zach Beasley in the score column here tonight for Eastmont. Off to Eric Card it goes. Card with the stop in the paint, backs up, shoots it, and it's off the mark, no good. Christian Cruz got the rebound. Cruz gonna go the other way, and that's gonna be it. As Wenatchee's gonna hold on and win by 2, 68-66. What a game again here between the Wildcats and the Panthers.
Welcome back once again here to Wenatchee High School. It's been a great night here. We've got the Eastmont Unified basketball team around me here. Hey guys, did you guys have fun? Yeah. Awesome. Everybody played great here tonight. And as you can see, excitement still abounds. Did everybody have a good time? Yeah. Come on in here. Grace, did you have a good time tonight?
Yeah.
It was a good show all the way around for both Eastmont and Wenatchee. You got to give it to these unified players. They did a great job once again here tonight. That's going to wrap it up for the NCW Life Channel. Say goodbye, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Again, the final score was Wenatchee 68, Eastmont 66. We'll have the game, by the way, tomorrow at 7 o'clock right here on the NCW Live channel. All right, to the Les Schwab Prep scoreboard from last night in girls basketball. Cashmere's Haley Van Lith. What a basketball player. The first quadruple double in school history. The Cashmere sophomore had 37 points, 14 steals, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Cashmere dispatched Chelan, no problems at all. It was a home game, 89-34. Also on the scoreboard, Antioch mauled Moses Lake Christian, 69-20. Waterville Mansfield took it to Soap Lake, 57-35. That's girls. Boys basketball. Again, the Les Schwab Prep scoreboard. Despite scoring 23 points in the fourth quarter, Antioch fell to Moses Lake Christian, 45-42. Waterville Mansfield couldn't hold a third quarter lead and dropped a road defeat to Soap Lake, final 57-55. Into the swimming pool we go. Congratulations to the Wenatchee Panthers, the regular season Big Nine champions. They won. They dispatched Moses Lake in a very close match. As you see, 684.5 points. The Chiefs had 675. Eastmont finished third. Wenatchee's Connor Elwin setting a school record in the butterfly with a time of 52-11. All right, that's what happened. Here's what's going to happen tonight. Your schedule. Cashmere is at Cascade at 5:45. Eastmont will host West Valley in girls basketball. We will have it here, 5:45. On the NCW Live channel. Wenatchee is on the road to take on Davis, also at 5:45. Then tomorrow in girls basketball, Antioch is at Riverside Christian, and then Eastmont will be at Moses Lake. Now on to the boys. It's the same as the girls, just later start times. Cashmere, Cascade, Eastmont hosting West Valley. Again, that game will be here on the NCW Live channel. Davis will host Wenatchee. And then Saturday, Antioch's game at Riverside Christian is a 3 o'clock. It's a matinee. And then tomorrow night, Eastmont will travel to Moses Lake. Boys basketball, 7:30. And of course, Wenatchee Wild Hockey. Merritt is in town for a couple of games at the Town Toyota Center tonight and tomorrow. Art Checker, of course, will be joining us here in just a couple of minutes. Tonight is Pepsi night, so if you show up early enough, you'll get a T-shirt from Weinstein Beverage Pepsi Cola, and then tomorrow it's the annual Guns and Hoses game. That's the firefighters and the police doing scrimmaging on the rink. That begins at 5 o'clock. We're going to film, by the way, Guns and Hoses with Art Checker, and then, of course, the actual game itself between Wenatchee and Centennial, all that good stuff we'll talk about with Arch here in just a few minutes. 29 minutes after the hour. It's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on this Friday. Let's do the obscure holiday of the day today. January 26th is National Spouses Day. National Spouses Day. It's an unofficial holiday. They always are, for the most part, the obscure holiday. Wedding rings, there you go. Wedding rings go back to ancient Egypt. Did you know that? Spouses Days. Fun facts about marriage. It is legal to marry somebody who is dead in France. Over 300 couples a day get married in Las Vegas, Nevada. There you go. Every hour, there are 100 divorces in the United States of America. Most experts agree that the third year of marriage is usually the happiest for most couples, and the fear of marriage is gamophobia. Gamophobia, the fear of marriage. Today is National Spouses Day. And at 30 after the hour, let's do some Today in History, shall we? We always welcome a new state to the Union. Doing the honors today, Michigan. Michigan joined the Union 181 years ago, January 26th, 1837. Of course, the Great Lakes State, the Wolverine State, if you will. The state song of Michigan is called My Michigan. It's the official state anthem, but nobody ever plays it. And there's a reason for it, because the songwriters wouldn't sell the song to the state. They copyrighted it. So if anybody wants to play the song, they have to pay a royalty, and Michigan doesn't want to do it. The song's not in the public domain, so it's one of those few state songs that nobody ever hears because nobody wants to pay the royalties for it. Happy birthday, Michigan, 181 years old today. And now we got some Super Bowls, 4 of them to talk about. This is the 32nd anniversary of Super Bowl XX, Super Bowl 20 in New Orleans, with the Chicago Bears rolling all over the New England Patriots, 46-10. It's the 4th and most recent Super Bowl, and with both teams were making their Super Bowl debuts. And if you remember this, I remember watching this on TV. The pregame coverage included what was known as the silent minute. It was 60 seconds of just blank screen, so you could go to the bathroom or whatever before the game began. They wouldn't do that now, not with the commercials as much as they cost. The 32nd anniversary of Super Bowl 20. 26 years ago today, on this date in 1992, Washington defeated Buffalo to win Super Bowl 26. In Minneapolis, the attendance, 63,130, the second lowest attendance of all time behind just the first Super Bowl, because the Metrodome was and remains the smallest stadium ever to host the Super Bowl. And of course, the Metrodome is no longer with us. Today is the 21st anniversary of Super Bowl XXXI, Super Bowl 31 in New Orleans. New England Patriots and the Green Bay Packers. The Packers won, knocked off the Patriots 35-21, and won Super Bowl 31 in the state in 1997. And today is the anniversary of Super Bowl XXXVII. Super Bowl 37, Tampa Bay defeated the Oakland Raiders in San Diego. By the way, that Super Bowl, the one that you're looking at, Super Bowl 37, the last Super Bowl to be played in January. And ironically enough, after that Super Bowl, both Tampa Bay and Oakland have gone through a long period of not being very good. And finally, at 33 minutes after the hour, birthdays for you. 2 historic figures. Douglas MacArthur, General Douglas MacArthur, was born in this state in 1880, passed away in 1964 at the age of 84. One of only 5 men ever to get 5 stars, the rank of General of the Army in the U.S. Army, and he was the only man ever to be the Field Marshal of the Philippine Army. Douglas MacArthur, great general, a man of tremendous ego, born in the state in 1880. The great Paul Newman was born in the state in 1925. We lost Paul about 10 years ago at the age of 83. The Hustler, The Color of Money, Cool Hand Luke, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Sting, The Verdict, The Towering Inferno, all of those great movies. The great Paul Newman, of course, also a philanthropist, born in the state in 1925. Ellen DeGeneres is 60 years old. There she is. There's Ellen. Of course, she was in the popular sitcom Ellen in the 1990s, and since 2003, she's been hosting the Ellen DeGeneres Show. It's been on the air for 15 years. Ellen DeGeneres has hosted the Academy Awards, the Grammy Awards, the Primetime Emmys, and she's won more Golden Globes than anybody in history. Happy 60th to Ellen DeGeneres. And the great one, Wayne Gretzky, 57 years old today, the greatest hockey player of all time. Even the NHL says he's the greatest hockey player of all time. The leading scorer in NHL history, more goals, more assists than any other player. He's been retired for 18 years, and he still holds 60 NHL records. The great Wayne Gretzky is 57 years old today. 34 minutes after the hour, everyone is entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion. That comes your way in just a couple of minutes. And Arch Ecker talking wild hockey. Merritt is in town for a couple of games, Friday and Saturday. We'll preview what you can expect at the Town Toyota Center. A couple of W's, I'm hoping, with Arch Ecker. He's coming up next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live here from Studio 1 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
I'm Dr. Ron Singleton. See how Ideal Protein can help you.
I started Ideal Protein about 10 months ago. I'm down 123 pounds. and a little over 50 inches.
Using Ideal Protein, I've lost 37 pounds in just 10 weeks.
I lost over 52 pounds in 4.5 months on Ideal Protein.
This has been a wonderful journey. The food is great, and it's a very easy program to follow.
This medically designed program has repeatable, safe, and effective results. Call us today to schedule your weight loss consultation.
Alone, it can be hard to reach our dreams. It can feel like you aren't welcome anywhere. When no one's there to clap. Taking on the world by yourself. But when we come together, when we lend a helping hand, when we set the stage, when you support causes you care about in your community, lives are changed. You make a difference in someone's life when you give. Imagine the impact if everyone in our community gave 10%. 10% makes a difference.
SkillSource specializes in assessing and guiding youth, adults, and laid-off workers who want to improve their skills. Here you can attend in-depth workshops to assess skills and interests, make career plans, and learn computer basics.
Learning centers provide eligible youth and adults individualized computer-assisted basic education. Vocational training is arranged with approved providers like community colleges or on the job with businesses.
Don't wait any longer. Let's get working on the future you've been dreaming about.
Hi, I'm Cordell Schroeder, owner of East Wenatchee Mobile Storage.
If you're thinking about making a move anytime soon, check out the East Wenatchee Mini Storage brand new mobile storage service. They drop it off at your location, you pack it, and they pick it up and store it in their protected warehouse at East Wenatchee for as long as you need. When you're ready, they'll drop it off at your new home or office. East Wenatchee Mini Storage is excited to offer this brand new service to our region.
Call 509-884-8643 or find us on the web at ewministorage.com.
Bay Equity Home Loans in Wenatchee, serving all of North Central Washington. We make it our priority to learn all about your financial needs. Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, or want a reverse mortgage, our mortgage professionals are ready to guide you through the loan process. We have a wide variety of loan products to fit your family's needs. Call Bay Equity Home Loans of Wenatchee today for your pre-approval. 509-888-0466.
Hey, it's Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, sometimes I see Facebook posts and pictures of police officers in full SWAT gear and the like, stating that these officers are heroes, men and women of courage. Now, they are, believe me. But a lot of that, if I may say so, is just macho posing. Now, not in any way to show disrespect to those involved in the aggressive and potentially violent side of police work, but there's another side of police heroism. Those cops who deal with wounded victims, very often children, wounds that are not physical, but instead are emotional and psychological. It's these interactions with the most vulnerable of our society which caused cop-turned-author Joseph Wambaugh to say that it's the emotional and psychological stressors of these kind of contacts that make police work the world's most dangerous profession. Now, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
If you're stuck trying to find the perfect beer for you, look no further than Badger Mountain Brewing. We specialize in creating tantalizing craft beers that will soothe any picky taste buds and will satisfy your cravings. Check out everything from our amazing honey blonde that will appease even the most finicky taster, or a delicious frothy stout for dark beer lovers. Experience them all at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Hi, this is Carl.
And Kathy from East Wenatchee Grocery Outlet. We are excited to be a part of this wonderful community and look forward to meeting you at East Wenatchee Grocery Outlet.
Our store is filled with name brand products at bargain prices at 40 to 60% savings. We have a large selection of natural, organic, and specialty foods.
Stop by and meet Carl, the wine guy, on Wednesday.
East Wenatchee Grocery Outlet, where you can win what you save. stop by soon.
So, how you guys doing?
My job starts in Portland in a month.
Can we find a buyer that fast? I think we're good. Our CBX app tells us who the best potential buyers are. We can pinpoint where the hottest prospects are located, right on this map.
2 cities over.
It even lets us set the most accurate price. Wow, it really does all that. It really does all that.
Will help us pack?
We're working on that.
Hi, I'm Blair from Works, your workout prescription. Have you ever started an exercise program and struggled to keep it going? So what if I told you that with this MyZone device, I could increase your chances of self-motivated exercise adherence by over 200%. Combine that with an exercise prescription specifically for your level of readiness, we'll increase it even more. And that's our new member success system. It's $99, it's exclusively at Works. It includes your MyZone belt. Works, yourworkoutrx.com.
And we are back. 41 minutes after the hour. It is Friday. It's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz, and whenever the Wenatchee Wild have a home weekend series or even the occasional weekday game, we make it a point to invite our checker. And by golly, every time I invite him, he shows up. And there he is again. Hi, Arch.
Like as if by magic. You know why I love coming here, though?
Why?
Because I can say the dumbest things I ever felt like saying, and I just fit right in.
Intelligence is not a prerequisite to be on this show.
Clearly.
Yeah.
It's not a prerequisite to host the show.
No. All you have to
I
do
like
is
your little collection of stuff
It's
there.
all sports related. I got the football here, and I got the baseball and the
You
basketball.
find the banana appealing.
And Today's pun brought to you by Arch Ecker, the broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild. That 4-game losing streak is ancient history now, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Now we've won 4 in a row. Woohoo!
I know, it's funny how that works out. You know what? And you look back in the rearview mirror, and now if you look at the standings, we're 1 point off the pace of having the best record in the BCHL. And you look back at those games that got away, and you're like, you know, you steal one of those games. It's not even steal. I mean, they're games that we outplayed, like Trail. We outplayed them magnificently. Just ended up one of those games we lost 2-1 on the road. I mean, you flip the script on that one, you take it home. Next thing you know, we're sitting at the top of the heap right now. You know what? It's a 58-game season. Everybody plays 58, and you gotta schlep your way through it. And you know, our coaching staff basically came into this year. We knew we had lost a lot of firepower. Now, last year's team was obviously off the charts, record-setting, unbelievable, and we knew we lost a lot of firepower. And this year, coming in, we knew we were going to be good because we had a good, solid core of some guys that had developed through and were coming back. And we knew we had a good class of guys coming in. But all of that, you think, you know, if we can get down to the last month of the season, the last few weeks, and be in it and have a chance, then we're going to feel okay about that. And boy, have we. I mean, as I said, when you're 1 point off the pace of the best record, I think you can say, it's, you know, mission accomplished in that regard. But still, that said, you know, we always keep that one game at a time mentality. And yeah, we got 2 games this weekend, but right now the guys are focused on tonight.
There are 17 teams in the British Columbia Hockey League. 16 of them make the playoffs, so you have to be not very good to make the playoffs. But how important is it to win your division? Why is that such an advantage when the playoffs actually begin?
Well, I'll tell you why. It has everything to do with home ice advantage. If you're the #1 seed, then you end up with home ice throughout, and you just won't find a better home ice advantage than what the Wild have in Town Toyota Center now. You're going to say, well, of course you're going to say that, and yeah, maybe you've won a few games and whatnot, but I'm telling you, I've been in all these rinks all the way around the league. You know, and Penticton's got a nice setup, and Shellback's got a nice setup, and you know, Victoria's rink's pretty nice. I mean, there's a couple nice spots around. But you know what? In the last 2 years, well, last year plus this year, which coincidentally is how long I've been here. I was thinking about that earlier. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to drop that to Bliss and go, Bliss, you know, since you hired me.
Yeah. the franchise, the fortunes of the franchise, I think you're solely responsible for the tremendous success over the last couple of years. I mean, well, Bliss and the team, yeah, they played a role, but it's all you, Arch.
It's, well, yeah, that's possible.
Anyway.
But at any rate, the record over the last year plus, 43 wins, just 3 losses, 3 overtime losses. So 43, 3, and 3. Tonight's my 50th home game.
Is it really?
Well, sure.
Are they going to do some sort of big
43
thing?
plus 3. plus 3, it's 49, you see.
Okay.
So
please tell me they're going to have a big ceremony before the game.
Oh, way before. They're probably having it now.
Yeah, when it comes to home rink advantage, it doesn't get much better than what we have at the Town Toyota Center, and 90% of that is the atmosphere of the fans. They love it. They just love it.
Well, the fans make it.
Yeah.
I mean, without the fans, the atmosphere doesn't happen. I mean, they are 100% accountable and to the credit for the atmosphere. You know, Chris Clark was talking recently. Now, he and Lee Mendelson, who is our associate head coach, the two of them, they beat the bushes to find new talent, right? They're the ones that are working the phones. They're the ones that are talking to kids across the country and whatnot, and across Canada as well, and working on getting them to say, hey, you know, this is where you want to come play. Kids have choices, right? I mean, and they're informed. They know they got their darn interwebs now, right? And they talk to each other. But yeah, kids know where the good places to go are. They know where what programs are going to help them grow in their career. They know what places are comfortable to play in. They know what systems are amenable to their particular style. I mean, the kids know. So with that, they have choices. And Clarkie will tell you, when he used to get on the phone back in the day, and he's been here since day one, and he would talk to kids and he'd say, well, you know, we've got this program here in Wenatchee, Washington. And it was like, Wenatchee? Wenatchee? Watanabe? What are you talking about? Yeah, nobody knew. I mean, and I still talk to people that, you know, you moved where? My dad, it's pronounced Wenatchee. For crying out loud. But, you know, and it used to be a hard, well, I don't know, it's not so much a hard sell, but it was just people just didn't know. They had no clue what was going on out here. And now you get on the phone and you say, yeah, this is Chris Clark, Wenatchee Wild, and they're like, Wenatchee, yeah, we know Wenatchee. So, I mean, this program has really gotten on the map. And I'll tell you what, I mean, there's a few things that contribute to that. And part of it is, you know, and a tip of hat to Paul Baxter and John Buchanan, who were the coaches before Bliss.
They laid the foundation.
I mean, you know, those are a couple of well-respected names in the game. And, I mean, for Wenatchee to have had that triumvirate, those three coaches at the head of this program, you don't find, you know, a better group of three coaches anywhere. And Bliss is obviously, I mean, he's the winningest coach in, you know, U.S. junior hockey history, basically, for Tier 1 and Tier 2. And he's up to about, 779 career wins. It's unbelievable. But, you know, the coaching staff and then the fact that, like you said, the players being able to, they tell each other about the atmosphere in that building is unreal. And the support in the community. Players, that's one of the first things they ever mention, really, is just day-to-day life, wandering about town at the grocery store. People will say, hey, I saw you at the game, or, you know, how's that injury coming, or, you know, how the guys looking, how was that road trip? It's unbelievable, and the town has really embraced this club.
How much do alumnus of the Wenatchee Wild play a role in that? Say, you know, hey, I played for the Wenatchee Wild 5 years ago, and I had such a great time. So, hey, Mr. Weatherby, you should think about coming and playing in Wenatchee. The guys here are maybe farther down in their hockey career, but they have fond memories of playing in Wenatchee 6 years ago.
Yeah, that's just that's part of the groundswell of you know, the hearsay and whatnot, and just the word going around. You know, younger brothers and brothers of teammates. I mean, those are eyewitness accounts, basically. And they're going to say, well, you know, my buddy in college, his brother played for Wenatchee, and he said it was great. So those are the kind of things. So, I mean, like, for example, Brendan Harris and Charlie Combs, right? I mean, Harry played here 4 seasons, and now he's at Bemidji State, and so is Charlie Combs, the two of them. In fact, I was just reading an article on them that was written up in Bemidji State about those two. But, you know, do they get on the phones, and do we use them as a reference to talk to, you know, little Johnny in North Carolina that scored 1,000 goals last year? The kids don't have time for that. I mean, they're chasing degrees and doing their deal. So, I mean, it doesn't really work like that. But, you know, we can certainly point and say, hey, look, you know, Dakota Raby played here for 3 seasons. He just scored his first college goal for Michigan. I mean, that's a big league program. So, you know, those kind of things, they certainly go a long way in terms of answering your questions about alumni.
Jasper Weatherby, he's running away with the points total this year. He's
trying, for crying out loud.
63 points in 45 games, 31 goals, 32 assists. He is by far leading the entire league, everybody in the BCHL in points. The guy's
well,
a
he's leading, but I'll tell you, the kid from Victoria is right on his heels. And if anybody was at the game last week, Alex Newhook is the kid. He wears number 18. He's not even draft eligible for the NHL yet. So I guess he's 16.
Mm-hmm.
The kid's phenomenal. I mean, and he's only about 3 or 4 points, but he had a 3-point night against us the other night, which naturally the Wild won. I shouldn't say naturally. I shouldn't say that, but boy, it was a hell of a game too. Yeah. 6-5 overtime. Yeah. But yeah, Weatherby, I mean, he is a man among men at times. You put the puck on his stick, throw it in the corner, and guys, they try to knock him off the puck, and he's smart with his body positioning and protects the puck, and and it was interesting because that guy has scored so many wraparound goals, which takes a lot of strength to come out from behind the net and be able to rip around and stuff it in on the short side. But the goal he scored against Victoria was interesting because he came out from behind the net, and instead of jamming it in on the short side, he was able to use his reach and go all the way around the goalie and tuck it in behind him inside the far post. And that's just a case of a smart hockey player. And that's why, University of North Dakota, when you start listing premier college hockey destinations, I mean, North Dakota is generally one of the first ones that's going to come up in conversation, and that's where he's heading. Mm-hmm. And that's why, because he's that kind of player.
Yeah. Does he feel any pressure to carry the team in a certain respect? Say it's a tight game, it's one of those 2-1 games, and they're halfway through the third period, and he feels the pressure that I gotta get one in the back of the net.
I don't think that's his character so much, but at the same time, leaders know, and I wouldn't know if I'd call it like pressure, the kind of pressure that would be, potentially crippling. But as far as understanding his role on the team, he's one of the leaders and he knows it. So I think he feels that, I don't know, I think he knows that he can, but I don't think he feels the weight of it as far as it being a negative. But I do feel it would drive him. And AJ Vanderbeek's the same way. I mean, the kid scored 4 goals against Victoria the other night. He's our captain. And it's like, AJ, we need you.
Yeah.
And he understands it and he responded. So both of those guys are kind of the same thing.
One more player I want to talk about, and that's Slava Demin, who was the baby of the team last year. And now he's back. And
they grow up so fast.
I know, but Slava's having a really, really good year. I don't like to spotlight any particular player, but I wanted to throw that out there.
Well, you know what I mean. All the players are worthy of a moment of spotlight at some time. So yeah, we definitely love talking about him. So Slava, one of the things about him right now, NHL they have what they call their Central Scouting Report, and of that Central Scouting Report, well, they do one in preseason and they have a midterm one. And the midterm one that just came out, Slava is the highest ranked BCHL skater of all the players that made that midterm ranking report. Of all the BCHL kids, Slava is at the top of the list. Now, he's number 32 across all of North America. I mean, and that includes, that's the college kids, the juniors, major juniors, anyone with a pulse that plays in North America or is of North American descent. There's a European one also, but for North America, Slava is number 32 across that whole continent, right? And it's pretty impressive. And like I said, last year, he was the baby on the team last year, age-wise, but God, he doesn't play like it. And you would never think, like you would, if you watch the game, you say, who do you think's the youngest kid on the team? I'll guarantee you 100 times out of 100, nobody picks Slava. And he's just, he's like Weatherby in a sense that he's just like, he's advanced a little bit. He's a bit of a specimen, and he's just a smart player. And that's why, he's going to University of Denver, and he's going to play, and he is projected to be a high-ranking draft pick when they have the NHL entry draft in June in Dallas.
In fact, we have how many on the roster? 12, 13 committed to play collegiate hockey? I lost track of the number.
Well, it's about 12.
It's about 12. And it's not just, and Arch has mentioned this before, University of North Dakota, University of Denver, these are the schools in the upper Midwest. These are not just college teams that colleges that happen to have a hockey team. These are powerhouse teams. These are hockey powers in intercollegiate play.
Yeah, like Vanderbeck's going to Ohio State, another Big Ten school, and Hessler's going to Dartmouth, and Morton's going to Union College in Schenectady, New York. I mean, so these are, in the hockey circles, they're well-respected programs, and you know, the scouts know who Wenatchee is too, and they know exactly how to get here, and they know
they may not know how to pronounce it, but they know where it is.
Well, no, they're learning how to pronounce it too, because they come here a lot.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's great. You know, there's nights where, you know, we're playing Penticton, and like, I mean, I noted one game, there were 22 committed college guys on the ice in that one game, and from that draws a lot of NHL scouts. And we've seen every team at some point, every NHL team has rolled through our building to get a look at either Slava or someone, but we've had these scouts just roll through our building. So, I mean, what we're doing here is far bigger than just a little community hockey team, which some people may look at from the outside and just go, oh, you guys are cute, you got a little hockey team. It's kind of a big operation.
Merritt is in town, the Centennials. Again, we seem to be, all of a sudden, Merritt seems to be all over our schedule. Games tonight, games tomorrow. Talk about the Centennials.
Well, the Centennials, we've played them 4 times this year. We won 3 of the 4, and interestingly, we won all 3 in their building, and the one time they were here, they stole one from us and beat us 3-2. It was one of those nights where, again, I thought we played pretty well, and their goaltender, as a kid, stood on his head that night, and once in a while that's going to happen. You're going to play a strong game and you're just going to come up on the wrong end of it. That's what happened last time we played Merritt here. But, and they're a scrappy team. They've got some skill. They work very hard. And it's interesting because we played them, like I said, in their rink 3 of the 4 times this year. And their rink is a little bit smaller than every other rink in the league just because of the confines of the building.
Right.
And it maybe just makes it seem faster, but things happen quick in that rink because it's a shorter surface. And so maybe, like I said, and maybe it just makes me think that Merritt's faster than they are. But nonetheless, they're a gritty team. They work hard. They never quit. And most times we play them, we end up in these situations where, maybe we get ahead and then they battle back. We beat them 7-4, not last time we were there, but the time before that. We were up 2-0, pretty quick, and we're feeling pretty good. Next thing you know, you turn around and they're up 3-2, and you're like, "What
happened?" Yeah.
And then we kind of battened down the hatches and came back and put it away. But even the last time we were there, we were up 3-1, and they came back and they tied it, and all of a sudden it's a 3-3 hockey game. And guess how we won it? Jasper Weatherby with a wraparound goal.
It always comes around. Running out of time, Arch. It's Pepsi night tonight, and tomorrow, Guns and Hoses.
You know what? I'll tell you what else is cool about Pepsi night tonight.
What?
Weinstein Beverage Company, first of all, they rock, as you know.
Yes.
But our good buddy Don West is coming back tonight.
Oh, great!
Don West is going to be in the building, and we're going to do a dodgeball tournament between periods, and Don West is going to orchestrate that. So, for Don West fans, man, you got to come and check that out because it's great to have him in the building. His energy is just like, it raises the hair on your arms all the time, right? So that's tonight, and then tomorrow night, Guns and Hoses. The Guns and Hoses Foundation, obviously, they do tremendous work for our men and women and first responders. It's a huge deal, and I always have to give a tip of the hat to, the 911 operators, the ambulance drivers, the people that sometimes don't get talked. We talk about Guns and Hoses, and you think the fire guys and the police guys. Well, you know what? There's a whole lot of support staff behind them that help them do their job. And they deserve a little tip of the hat as well. So. And
Saturday night at 5, they're actually going to take to the rink and
Cops versus Firefighters, Guns and Hoses game, 5 o'clock, baby. Be there.
All right.
I'm channeling my daughter. You gotta be there. Don't miss it. It's incredible. Be there.
You got to throw in all right a couple of times. All right.
Yeah.
Don
I'll leave
West,
that for you.
You got to love that guy. Hey, Don, if you're out there and you're watching, decaf. Just look into it. Arch, have yourself a great weekend, buddy.
I will, man. You too.
Go Wild. We'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.